This is what I'm saying. I was able to experience first person and third person perspective simultaneously. I don't know any other way to say it. It's crazy. Welcome back to another episode on the IAM Mook podcast, and I'm your boy Mook. Now, I'm just going to jump right into it because my mind is going crazy right now trying to wrap my brain around this experience. And as you read in the title, that is exactly what happened. I was able to experience the first person perspective and third person perspective simultaneously, or whatever synonym is equal to the same time. Now, to give you a quick backstory on what's going on is I live a third of my life in the dream world, meaning I dream every time I go to sleep. The moment I close my eyes, I enter the dream world every single night. Even when I'm taking a nap, even when I'm dozing off, I start to enter the dream world. So I've grown accustomed to retaining the information from my dream world. Now, before I explain the true experience of what it was like to have a first person and third person experience, I'm gonna read a journal entry that I have in my book. I've been writing for like 9 years now, all my thoughts in a journal. Like, I dream so much, why not, right? So before I explain to you, let me just read what I wrote, okay? I've been trying to fully understand this for like 4 days now. Now, this dream was February 12, 2024. I had a dream about scientists who created a deadly virus in a laboratory. Once they finished making the virus, they set off a flash freeze bomb in the lab. They committed suicide in order to set things in motion. The bomb that was set off in the lab instantly froze everything, even the scientists. Once the lab began to thaw out, items began to combust and break, releasing the virus into the air. It was expected to be released after the equipment thawed, and it was expected that law enforcement and detectives would investigate the matter, which they did. They were the guinea pigs. The investigation commenced, and everyone was unaware that they were breathing in the virus, but nothing happened. This wasn't a virus that would kill anyone for breathing it in. As they were inspecting the scene, there was one person who collected items in the lab to further inspect them, and in the process of doing so, he scratched his arm on the surface of the surrounding furniture. It was this guy who was doomed. The virus works its way into the bloodstream by entering through open wounds. Anyone that had a slight scrape, scar, gash, or cut as they entered the lab was marked for death. No one really understood what happened or what was happening. I remember knowing that the guy with the scrape would die within 24 hours. His body would decompose rapidly. I ended up being part of the detectives team, and I was a little paranoid because I was in the lab as well, breathing in the virus. But for some reason, I didn't speak out on what was going on. I was in spectator view while also being a detective in the lab. My spectator perspective was aware of what happened because I saw what happened, but my detective self didn't. It was like my detective self had intuition through the knowledge or awareness of my spectator self. My intuition wasn't concrete, so I didn't say anything. I just had a feeling that as the day went on, something would happen and I would be able to piece things together. And then the dream just keeps going on and it kind of goes off tangent because that's what dreams do. But that was the gist of what happened. So now, let me explain what happened. Sometimes you just watch as things happen in the dream. Sometimes you are the person in the dream. Sometimes you're a different person in the dream. I was watching the events that happened. I watched the scientists create this virus, and then they blew it up using this flash bomb, as I said. Like, it froze the entire thing. Like, that was the whole purpose of creating the virus. And the only way to spread the virus was to flash freeze it. And when it thaw out, everything would start popping and busting and cracking, and the virus will come out that way. So that's what happened. I'm visualizing all of this from like a spectator view. I have no emotion. I have no thoughts about it. I'm simply aware of the events that's happening in this specific space. So I watch as the inspectors, the detectives, the police come into the building. And as I'm watching them come into the building, I watch myself come into the building with them. I was part of the team. But how am I part of the team of detectives when I'm the one watching the events that's happening? It was like a merged reality. I had two perspectives that created one experience. And it's weird because I knew that was me when I walked in. But the weird thing is that the first person perspective part of me, the detective, is unaware, is oblivious of the spectator version of me. Imagine watching a movie. You can't interact with the characters of the movie. All you can do is observe it and identify the movie as it goes on. So that was the spectator version of me. All I could do is just witness what was going on. There is no tapping me or tapping the actors in the TV and say, hey, there's a bomb in your desk, don't open the desk. There's nothing you can do about it. You can just see it. But imagine you watching a movie, you knowing that there's a bomb in the desk, but now the actors in the movie have a feeling that there's a bomb in the desk because you are aware of it. Is that a better way to explain what was happening? Is there anyone else out there that's had this experience, that was able to experience two perspectives in one? Maybe that's what the fourth dimension is. Maybe you're able to see from the outside and be in the inside at the same time. Maybe that's what it is, because that's what happened. I'm trying to think of any other detail that I'm leaving out to like get y'all to fully understand the experience. So the view that I had was, it was all encompassed. It was all one view. It wasn't two monitors or two different visions. It was all one vision. It was seeing myself from a distance while being in that body, experiencing the events. And it's like the spectator version of me unintentionally was passing information to the detective part of me inside the dream. We were connected without really doing it on purpose. Now, I go by a specific philosophy, like the principle of correspondence. As within, so without, as without, so within. As above, so below, as below, so above. Meaning, to better understand the infinite, one may need to understand one unit. To understand, a population of people, one may only need to contemplate a person. To better understand the universe, one may only need to understand the atom. Y'all following me? To better understand what's going on inside may help understand what's going on outside. What if I'm observing my own reality from a distance while playing a part in the reality that I'm observing? What if I'm my own guardian angel? It's kind of hard to wrap my head around it, so I'm trying the best that I can to explain it. And I would like for somebody else out there to try to understand what I'm trying to explain, because I'm not the greatest at doing this. But the experience happened. I experienced first person and third person perspective simultaneously. Please try to refrain from saying it's not possible just because you haven't experienced it or just because you don't know the answer. I'm just saying, think about what I'm explaining and see if it makes sense. What if I'm overlooking my waking reality? And just like the detective in my dream world, I'm unaware of my higher self. I sometimes get answers without any tangible knowledge. Like sometimes I walk into a room and I can feel something is off. I can meet a person, never talk to them, and know something's up. And I know there's other people out there that go through the same thing. And I know a lot of women that naturally have intuitive abilities to where they don't have to be around their child to know something's wrong. What if that is the case? What if you know something wrong because you have a higher self observing the events in your life?